we'll be able to get reacquainted with our people that are sometimes termed breakaway civilizations, the Space Force, positive Space Force, if you will, and our people on the colonies in Mars, on the Moon, etc. So that's going to be really cool. Basically, join the idea. Part of what's going on here is to join the Earth's surface civilization with the breakaway civilizations, which is we're the same. We're brothers and sisters, and some of us have been part of that. I've been in the SSB, as like I say, many of us are. Certainly several million. Join, and then of course that means the Earth's surface. We can start to employ already very developed advanced technologies, the med beds, the age regression, which some of the med beds can age regress us. And I just want to say one more thing about what's going on now. All the poisons that are unfortunately going into bodies, the people right now, and a lot of people that have died and will die. But I'm looking at it that it's going to happen fast enough that most will be able to be saved. We'll get the advanced medical beds, and the first of them we can utilize on the people that need them, especially those who need to have their physical sleeves neutralized of these very poisonous and destructive substances that have been put in them and are still being put in them on, at this stage, eh? And they're trying to force everybody into it, of course, all that. So I think I could be off there, but I got a good feeling just recently about that. It's the the intuitive empath thing. It's it's what are you feeling? What's vibrating? And I would say I believe to know that. And that's just recent hours really that came to me that some things come to you eventually, because I was wondering about that for a while. And I say my take, it's just a guess basically, because I ain't no expert, eh? But anyways, that's I see that happening, and that's going to be great. So we'll be able to save a lot of the people that are getting these injections, if you will, and that's going to be excellent too. So yeah, eventually we get the med beds. That's going to be massive. It'll help in so many aspects. Help bring more balance and peace, and of course health to people. And basically with the med beds, the Earth's surface population will be able to live 1,000+ years again. Age regression, and then imagine how much we could learn and evolve if we want to, and we have that kind of time to do so, which most humans in the galaxy do, are able to have a much longer experience in their physical sleeve than we do here in this prison matrix that's just hammers down on the people, all the creatures, and none of the creatures really live very long, in the physical sleeve. But we'll start to pretty soon after planetary liberation. Certainly, we can start to build operating systems with these very advanced technologies, including, of course, the med beds, the medical beds, including the holographic imaging medical beds, for example, that will beam. Say we got a sick liver. They'll take its very advanced very advanced software programs we're talking, and we're talking quantum computer systems here, running them, and also, which basically is like photons instead of like electrons. Like our computer system now, it's kind of really electron driven, and where you get into the quantum computers, you're talking like photon driven, man. Photons the smallest particle that exists. Photons, which are there's various there's so many different types of photons, including tachyons, which are so beneficial for healing, and they use tachyon. Some civilizations use tachyon energy to as chief propulsion systems on ships, etc. Their energy grid systems for lighting, all that kind of stuff. And then photons. Well, photons are basically quarks, right? They're subatomical. The quarks that are in the atoms, and they get you. So depending what you do with those quarks to send some kind of energy and excite them, and then you get into you can utilize them very positively, including for utilizing them anti-gravitic propulsion ships, which is used like that. That's really what it is. It's exciting the quarks, right? The subatomic particles in the atoms. Quarks, like I say, that's a photon. They're photons. Photon is like a general word for it. Stuff like that. So, anyways, we'll get that in the schools too. That's going to be really exciting. Our schools, we can start to teach the advanced technologies, how to build anti-gravitic engines, etc. There's so many different technologies and some great ones. All that. So it's just amazing how there's going to be so much opportunity for everybody that wants to do something and learn something, and including more and more of the off-planet opportunities after planetary liberation. So for now, we're kind of, we're obviously experiencing the last of this cabal just hammering down, and they're getting pretty. They're exposing themselves quite a bit. Like, say, they've been carting out some of their, and they continue to cart out some of their operatives, some of their Nazis and stuff. Like the other day, somebody saying, screw your freedoms. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, right. So it's a pretty, they're really out in the open now, more and more. It's like there's no more, the mask is off, really, if you start to really listen to them now, especially these days and weeks and months. The mask is off, and that's what we're in. We're in apocalypse times, and apocalypse is just an old word for cover, leather cover. And the apocalypse, the cover has come off, and we see the face of the dark beast, and it ain't too pretty, is it now? But anyways, yeah. Let's get into a little more of Cobra. Some more stuff on this July 13th writing. It's lots of stuff here, eh? Oh, this is great. We'll just we'll touch on this, and we'll go into the next one. This is excellent. Here's some more Cobra wrote here. There's lots of links here and stuff. Cobra always puts with his writings everything to to support what he's writing about, etc. Now, Cobra writes here, in the past, Galactic Confederation councils did not reach unity in their plans how to liberate planet Earth, and there were many opposing views to this problem among the Confederation personnel. Certain actions were taken last week, so he's talking about July, the first week of July here, about a month and a half or so ago. Certain actions were taken last week, early July 2021, by Semjas, or Semjays, I think he pronounces it Semjays. Okay, I'll start at the beginning here. Certain actions were taken last week by Semjays and some other high commanders of the Galactic Light Forces. And now a consensus has been reached within the Confederation that a drastic intervention will take place at the right moment on the surface of the planet. Not much can be said about that at the moment, apart from the fact that if the Cabal crosses a certain line, the intervention will come much sooner and it will be harsher. Yeah, man. There it is, brothers and sisters. Yeah, salut, tous les forces lumière, tous les soldats de lumière. Excellent. Okay, so let's get into another recent writing from Cobra. And Addy. So there's lots of stuff here. That's like just mind-blowing intel, eh? Okay, let's get into a very recent writing here by our fine, fierce light warrior, Mr. Cobra. Let's see here. We'll go to August 2021. Here we go. Okay, now here's one from a couple of weeks ago. Let's see here. And Cobra calls this one, he puts a headline of this one, David and Goliath. David and Goliath. Okay. Now, and this is very important right now because we're right into it now. We're August 20, and here, so Cobra starts out this writing by saying, we are now entering the crucial part of the year between August 15th and October 18th. Eris and Pluto will be in an almost exact square. This is the most powerful astrological aspect of the year, and it signifies a battle between two timelines, the positive ascension timeline and the negative coronavirus reset timeline. Oh yeah, right on, right on. Okay, let's get into some more of this here. And Cobra goes on here and says, this period might appear to be very frightening, as the dark forces will do whatever is within their power to continue with their long-term plan to impose vaccine passports and maybe even forced vaccinations. Okay, so as we're seeing every second now, that period we're in, right now, we're in it right now, definitely, August 15th to October 18th, 2021, that period, that kind of thing. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it. It's more and more out in the open, Okay, now, let's see. Let's touch on some of that. Oh, this is excellent. Look what the goddesses did. Here's something excellent. Hats off to the goddesses, man. What they're doing, The goddesses of love, the goddesses of light, they're paramount in bringing more and more goddess energies here into this physical plane, into this local ether realm we're in, and that's paramount to bring back balance, masculine, feminine balance, and that, excellent, awesome. Now, what they just did, and this has had profound effect since. This is on July 24th that these goddesses did this particular piece of work underneath in the catacombs below Paris, as Cobra writes here. And what I found since then, really, I think that's really helped with the awakening of the surface population here, the Light Forces ground crew on the surface here, if you will. The protests have gotten bigger, and there's more of a effective light force here on Earth. And that, so yeah, excellent. And thanks to these goddesses, man. Because as Cobra writes here, what they've done here of recent. Now it goes. The light forces are working behind the scenes to counteract this what the dark forces are doing, basically. All this really nasty, criminally insane stuff to try to do more. Basically deliver more death and destruction, more harm, more pain and suffering to Mother Earth and her creatures, etc. So now, as part of counteractions, thanks to some really groovy goddesses, the light forces are working behind the scenes to counteract this. On July 24th, 2021, goddess priestesses of the resistance movement did a very powerful Kundalini activation in the catacombs below Paris. Yeah, right on, man. And of course, Paris, there's one of the most powerful goddess vortex energy systems is below Paris, and it kind of runs right to Lyon. It's super powerful. So that's, we're going to watch the two key countries to really watch for in what's happening is Paris and the United States of America. But it's the whole, we're all involved here. It's not that. But what's shifting there? My take is, we'll see France, the first country to really break free from Macron and all these satanic forces that are still, hammering down. And as you can see, what's happening in France now with the recent news is, apparently, you're not allowed to, you can't go into a grocery store anymore unless you show some kind of passport, So it's openly, we're seeing these criminally insane dark beasts unleash these highly criminal stuff. And if you read the Nuremberg Code, just that part of it, it shows you the potential legal actions that will take place with these criminals that are openly incriminating themselves every day, imposing these draconian, massively legal mandates, etc. Okay, so hats off to the goddesses, and it goes on to say what the goddesses have done there when they did their ceremonies in the catacombs below Paris. Oh yeah, exactly. They say the goddess priestesses of the resistance movement did a very powerful Kundalini activation in the catacombs below Paris. Okay, of course our Kundalini, that's our life force energy, man. It's like really, there's, of course we know we got our local etheric body, energy body, we got our aura and our chakras running right down our prana tube, if you will. Not everybody's going to call it that, but your prana tube, your life force energy runs right through our spine. It's our central nervous system, and of course our chakras are all lined up there. So our life force that makes animation possible here that we can be animated in these physical sleeves is our energy body. Obviously. So they've done that, and it's definitely triggered and helped um, activate more everybody's kundalini here on the surface. And to me, we've seen that since then too. There was quite a boost in that, and the kind of another more awakening going on. So excellent work by the goddesses, bravo Zulu, and then there's a lot of other stuff here. Cobra goes on to write. Oh yeah, the gendarme, right? The gendarmerie police in France. The gendarme, the French paramilitary police, right? They're kind of like, they are like, police soldiers or paramilitary police, as Cobra writes here. We're supporting the protests. Oh yeah, we're supporting protests. In some cases, actually leading the crowd with their helmets off. Yeah, we've seen that too. So more and more of the brothers and sisters in the police forces, certainly the light forces division, if you will, are joining this massively growing resistance against this tyrannical beast, so awesome. And you can see, the gendarmerie are, you look at them, and they're definitely, they look like soldiers too, they're like, they're like all really strong, physically fit looking people and very well trained, obviously. That's an interesting thing, You got kind of these police soldiers, They're soldiers, but they're police too, And of course, every military has military police as well. So in that, they're hardcore military, but they're the police. They're like a society within a society. I just want to say something about that. The military police. While we're talking about police, I did a couple of years in the Canadian Navy. Gotten plenty of trouble being a drunkard and stuff. Didn't do anything sort of dishonorable. I didn't get out. I got out honorably, all that. But I did do some a couple of months worth of. I did a couple of weeks in base jail on the base over in Esquimalt, the west coast of the West Coast Navy bases over there, on Vancouver Island. And then about half a year later, I got in trouble again. Showed up drunk on duty, started cracking jokes, and then so I got sent to Edmonton, which is the federal military prison in Canada. For those of us in the military, when we piss in the pickles, so to speak, we get in the shit, And so I went there for a 60-day stint, 60-day sentence. Marched really hard, did well, got out in 46 good time. Because every day there is like, wow, it's good to get out early if you can, man. I can guarantee you that. So I did well in there. It was really, I always thought it was training, like a special kind of training. It's really, I wouldn't want to spend a long time in there, that's for sure. I mean, I said it after I got out of there too. I remember I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Like, so I guess it did have an impact on me. It's like, whoa, I don't want to go back there kind of thing. So it has its effect. Like if I would have stayed in the military, I would have, that would have been quite a motivator to stay out of trouble, and that's the idea. I could have stayed in the military actually if I would have, stopped drinking alcohol and stuff, and I chose to leave. So the military is all kinds of stuff, and basically, as we know, more and more people on the surface realize there's a negative military and a positive military. I've met a couple of very high level, of the highest level, military officers, Canadian military officers who are definitely dark forces, negative military, and I've met the positive ones, so it's just the way it is, There's a negative military and a positive military. It's there's the creators and the destroyers here on Earth. There's the light forces and the dark forces here on Earth. We're at that point where we're sort of one or the other. But most people on the surface, I think, are not of criminal mind, of corrupt mind in large part, and that's really the thing, And as this awakening happens, we're getting a larger and larger effective resistance force against these demonic beasts that are still around. But they're quickly getting swept up and neutralized, etc. So I just want to say something about the military police. To me, they got a really hard job in a way that they're kind of like a society within a society. So a lot of us in the military, you'd want to stay away from them, just because and you really only deal with them if you when you get in trouble. But you know, there are brothers and sisters like we all are. Eh? So I always found that I think that's a you know that's a tough line of work. I think, but some people can do it, and you know, hats off to them. I know a buddy in the Navy who was he was a marine engineer like I was, and when all the steamers were around, they needed a lot of marine engineers who worked in the boiler rooms and engine rooms and did the outside equipment, kept care of the outside equipment, etc. And he went. I seen him once after that, a few years later, when I was out of the service for sure, and my friend, yeah, he went military intelligence. Real smart guy, eh? Like hats off. I won't mention his name or anything. That's not a you know that wouldn't be of service in any way. But that yeah, really mentally strong, and just like an exceptional soldier kind of guy. And you could see, yeah, so he got into military intelligence. So there's some really talented, intelligent people that work that, like military intelligence. You know, there's a lot of intelligent people in there, you know, and stuff. It's just who controls it too, right? We've had a lot of negative control of our systems in place, so we've seen a lot of negative results that kind of make things look like, wow, you know, are they don't see it. It's not that. So it's not that our people are stupid. It's just who's controlling the show, eh? Kind of thing, eh? And that's good. The dark forces is quickly like super quickly on their way out now. Anyways, let's get to some more of this. About the gendarmerie and that French military working behind the scenes supporting this. Oh yeah, another thing. Yeah, Cobra writes here too. There is a very powerful, positive faction in the French military working behind the scenes supporting this whole peaceful protest and everything. Eh? The protests do have a positive effect, and Macron was forced to partially back down on vaccine passport mandates. Okay, of course, this was like a month or so ago, folks. So, I mean, obviously they're rolling in this stuff, or certainly attempting to, but more and more we're getting an effective resistance against it, as required. That's good. So, hats off to all the Light Forces ground crew for continuing to wake up and find ways of helping with planetary liberation, etc. Yeah, and it's like, and Cobra wrote here, and Alberta, a province in Canada, was forced to drop almost all coronavirus restrictions. Yeah, and they did the same thing here in British Columbia at the beginning of July. And of course now they're talking, there's that force talking about wanting to impose more and everything. But I say hats off to the positive military, because that's why we can walk into a store, and that could change any second. I get it, you know. Well, we can walk into a store around here in British Columbia, Canada, or Alberta, although they're trying to impose more now on us again, and you know, it's a tug of war going on. Hats off to the positive military, I say. In this case, the American and Canadian positive military in North America here. And there's very positive militaries all over the world, just like there's negative militaries. Hats off to them. I say they're primarily, it's thanks to them that we have gotten some of the areas of the world, like here, have gotten opened up so much more. So we don't have to wear a mask, or at this stage show some kind of passport to go into a store, although they're pushing for all that in here too again. But thanks to the positive military, to this second, a lot of us, and I know it's harsh for people in parts of Australia and what they're doing in France now, of course, and what they're imposing, striving to impose everywhere. But for this second, you know what I mean? I can go up and go into a store without putting a face mask on, which is very harmful in the health. Just, you know, we're reducing 20+% oxygen getting into our body. Our body needs oxygen. What do we live off, right? 80% of what our physical body lives off is oxygen, water, and the sun. You know, 20% is only physical foods, and that's reducing too now that there's more and more high light quotient sacred energies flooding in here, and have been for years. Eh? So we're gonna require less physical foods as time goes on. Eventually, we won't even have to eat. You know, we'll eat. A celebratory and that kind of thing, of course. Eh? Okay, so looks awesome, folks. I mean, the big picture looks very bright. We're at the end of the war here, and dark forces are going completely retarded now. They're on their way out though, real fast, faster and faster every second, as we speak, man. Um, oh yeah. Now this one here is. Oh, this is very interesting because also the resistance force, right? The resistance, the light forces known as the resistance. Cobra writes here: the resistance has communicated that it is not Trump who will return to the White House at the time of the event. Rather, a provisional interim government will be formed until new elections can be held as soon as logistically possible after the event. And then it also goes on to, Cobra also goes on to write, intel about fake duplicate White House is correct and has been confirmed by many sources. That's right. See this Biden administration? They're not in the White House, the White House in Washington. They built another one on the negative military base, and it's all a psyop, on, and that, So that's some pretty excellent intel coming from the resistance. Are saying that now too, officially saying that, Or on this site, on this very profound intel that is made available thanks to Cobra and the resistance and the Galactic Light Forces, etc. on this site. So that's pretty wild. Let me read that again. The resistance has communicate that it is not Trump who will return to the White House at the time of the event. Rather, a provisional interim government will be formed until new elections can be held as soon as logistically possible after the event. Intel about fake duplicate White House is correct and has been confirmed by many sources. It's true, it has been confirmed by many sources. More and more people are aware that only two companies, BlackRock and Vanguard, control most of the global financial assets. Okay, and then it gets into more of that stuff, all the financial stuff and everything, that kind of thing, But so we're starting to hear more and more about the higher level entities involved here in the dark forces, including these super corporate entities that really all these other are subsidiaries of. It's really on the same idea as the black magic Babylonian monetary system that plagues us to this second. There's the Bank of International Settlements, which is the the central bank of central banks based over in Switzerland. And then there's all the other central banks, the IMF, the World Bank, etc., that are central banks, but they're under that umbrella, really, the Bank of International Settlements. That's the demon's big central bank, the mother central bank here on Earth, if you will. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to do another